F.4, assign problem to category. In this part, we will do this feature, mapping a problem to category. In the previous video, F.3, after we go through many steps of preparation, I didn't update the code. The reason is we cannot run it. Even if we update the code, we cannot run it because that part relies on this part. If we do not complete this part, we cannot run the code updated version of F.3. So we put them together. After we complete F.4 discussion, then we do updates at the same time, and see the change. All right, let us look at several things we need to do for this part. The first, get category information for each problem. So here we need to assume this situation. All right. Sooner or later, we will get problem assigned to category, right? Yeah. So problem to category mapping. Sooner or later, we will do some of them or all of them. Yeah. So you need to consider the general situation. The mappings already there, right? Because after the assignment, you need to display the result. So you want to see the result, right? Yeah. So here we need to do some groundwork for that part. Yeah. All right. So one important thing is get category information for each problem. For each problem, you need to build the support in it in order to store the category information. Each problem, all right, so each problem, given a problem, you have two cases. All right. You can think of some category ID associated with it. All right, yeah. Cat ID associated with it. One case greater than 0. That means there is a valid category assigned to it. Another case is equal to 0. That means you have not assigned it to a category. Only these two cases. Yeah. But no matter which case it is in, you can build the infrastructure for it. Yeah. All right. So the first thing we need to do, we need to get into the problem.java. We add a category property. We add CID property there. All right. Yeah. Because this part is pretty easy, so I do not, copy the code here. Yeah, I just, let you know. But later, when we do the work, we need to do this part. Yeah. Now, let us look at the main change part. In prob.cat.dal.java class, remember we create this class in F.3. Yeah. Here we need to do some more work there. First, we need to define a prepare statement object called CID from PID. Yeah. Given a problem ID, we can search the table, prob.cat table, to see if there is a category ID corresponding to it. All right, yeah. If there is a valid category ID corresponds to this problem ID. Yeah, we want to see that. Yeah. So this query method helps us to do that. Yeah. So look at the query statement here. Select. Now we are in this table. All right. Select cat underscore ID from this table where the problem ID is given. Question mark. All right. Then we run the query method in this way. It's pretty easy. We pass problem ID to its first question mark. Then we do the query, get a query result. All right. Then we call this query result next. If there is a non-empty row, then the statement is true. The next method call returns true. Yeah, so there is a valid row. So we can retrieve the value from that row, and we expect it's a number integer greater than 0. Yeah, so cat ID greater than 0. If there is nothing, yeah, there is possibility no row return, right? No row returned, then we still use that 0 value here, right? Yeah. So you can see it's pretty easy. We get certain category ID for each problem. So later we can change it. We can put it here. Yeah, look at that. Put it here. All right. All right. So then next step, when we create a problem list, we will store the category information for display purpose. Yeah. So we add a category information to problem list for display purpose. Because when you display the questions, at the same time, you want to show your users which category this problem belongs to, right? Yeah. In the page, you want to show that. In the drop-down list, you want to display that particular category. So that's the reason we need this information. All right. Here, we just go back to our old DAO class, problem DAO.java. In the problem list by page class, we modify one part of it. We just modify one special part of it. We can add this category information. All right. So the dot part, that's the old code, so I do not copy to save some space. Here also, old code, save some space. Yeah. The new part, these lines, the new part. New lines we need to add to our old method. First, you can see because at this point we already have the problem ID. So we pass to the method to get its corresponding category ID. It could be 0, right? If it's 0, we just leave there. Okay, we just leave there. Yeah. If it's 0, we do nothing. Yeah. If it is greater than 0, then we set the CID of the problem to that positive integer number. Yeah. All right. Then we add to the list, return the problem list. Yeah. So after this part, modification, so you can imagine later every time when we call this method, the list of problem, that object already contains the category information. We just use it with that category information. All right, so that's the step 2. Step 3, now we need to work on the JavaScript part. Association, assignment. assign a problem to a category, you need to click a button, assign, all right? Assign. Then at the back end, we do the assignment work. We add one row in our prob_cat table to create a connection record. But for the user's interface, we need to create a JavaScript function for that button. Yeah, the function in F.3 we already put the function there in the button, but we need to write a definition. So here, that is the definition for that function. Yeah. The function called connect prob_cat with the problem ID. All right. Then inside the function, the definition. Yeah. First, we want to get a category ID from the drop-down list. Remember, we have a drop-down list, with user selected category there. All right. Yeah. So some category here. Yeah. All right. So then the button here, link button here. Here I use a link button. All right. Yeah, link button. Then after the user click this link button, so this function is called. All right. Then the first thing, we use jQuery. So this is the jQuery way. Okay. This is jQuery way. We use the jQuery way to get a value, of this select element. This is select element. All right. The ID for this element. ID for this element. Yeah. So I call it individual cats plus the problem ID. So that's the way I form the ID for this element. .val function. jQuery way to get a value of the element. .val function. jQuery way to get a value of the function. Yeah. So we get a CID. All right. Then the next step, look at this. .post, we use Ajax here. We use Ajax support in jQuery. It's pretty simple, pretty convenient. All right? We just write this statement. Then we call Ajax. So then we process the result. Yeah. Ajax, we can, from JavaScript function, we can communicate with the back-end processing programs and get the processed result back and do the processing at the front end. It's pretty simple, but very powerful. Here, we do that right here. First, this is our servlet URL pattern. Yeah. Later, we will develop a servlet, one special servlet to do the processing. All right. Map prob_cat, that's the URL pattern. All right. So we will do the processing. All right. Then we pass data, two IDs, problem ID, category ID, because we want to connect these two IDs. So we need to send these two together to our processing, mapping servlet at the back end. All right. Then we need to define a function to process, return the result. Yeah. Sometimes some processing result returned, so we can update our front end user's interface, right? Yeah. But for this particular, we do not really need to update the front end user's interface. So we only need to do a little thing. So you can see we didn't use the return data here because look at the function parameter part, nothing. Because in the general case, that parenthesis can contain data and status information. Data returned result. Ajax returned result. If we need to use it, we need to put the data parameter in that function. But here we do not use it, so we skip it. Status, the processing status, right? Processing, sometimes you have error, sometimes successful. So different status code, telling you what happens during the processing. And we don't need it. So we skip these two parameters. Here inside the function, we just change the color of the button, color of the link button, connect button. The reason is I want to tell the user, after the user click the button, there is something change. Otherwise, the user does not know if it works or not, right? If the mapping really works or not. So here I change the color of the button, so the user, oh, it changes. That should mean it works. All right? So that's the purpose. All right. That's step 3. Then the last step, servlet, mapping, processing servlet. So I create a new servlet called map. Actually here we create, because that's the first time we have this servlet. We create the servlet. Map prob cat servlet. All right. So for this servlet, remember the URL pattern we use for the Ajax map prob cat. That's the URL pattern, right? And this is part of the do post method. Here I show you the main part. Other parts, pretty easy. So this is the main part. Main part, you can see when we do the mapping, first we declare the object, then we construct it inside a try block. After that, we check if there is already a mapping between these two IDs. There is a possibility the mapping already exists, right? So if no, so here is the no mapping case equals 0, then we can safely add a new mapping row, right? So we call add a prob cat mapping, new mapping row. Then we complete it. That's all we need from the server side. All right. Next, let me work on the code part. And the code part, we need to do F3 plus F4 together. Okay, so we use 2 instruction files, F3 instruction file and F4 instruction file. Many steps. So let's go, step by step to do the change. All right, so here I have everything ready. We just work on the Eclipse part. First, let me still, clear all my, previous testing part. Previous testing work. And we get the sample 2 version, this version. Let us use the instruction file f.3. So here, my f.3 is not there. So let me bring up f.3. First, create a table. Yeah, to create a table, so I may need to do this. Because at my side, yeah, I remember I start a server. Right? Yeah. It just takes some time. All right. So so you can see in this database, in my testing, I already create this table. So let me drop it. Yeah, because in order to show you the whole procedure, I just drop this table. Yeah. Then we start from there. Yeah. Assuming, so that's at your side. So the first step, create this table. We copy the definition of the table here and run the command statement here to create it. And it is an empty table. After it is created, it's an empty table. All right? Yeah. Step 1. Step 2, we need to create probcat DAO, this class. Yeah. So let's do it. Do in the DAO package. Yeah, the third one. Yeah. All right, take some time. New package. Yeah. Package. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Why call it package? We don't want to create a package, right? We want to create a class, Java class. Yeah. All right. I need to select Java class, not package, C class. All right. So the class name, probcat DAO, the class name. Finish. All right. So then here, add some instance variables. Yeah, these three. Yeah, instance variables. Yeah. All right. All right. Yeah, put it here. Yeah. After that, yeah, let's fix the import part. Yeah, SQL. Yeah. Also, yeah, import part. All right. After that, constructor, right? We need to connect to the database. Constructor, let's copy from the problem or category. So just, you know, existing one, but we can change. Yeah. Constructor here. Yeah. Let us remove the, you know, query definition part and change its name to our current class cat, right? Yeah. So, all right. So this part is okay. Yeah. Next, we need to add definition of those two query statements. Yeah. To add probcat and has probcat. These two query statements. All right. And I put it here. Yeah. All right. We can do formatting a little bit. Yeah. So if we do not feel very comfortable, so we need to, let's do formatting. Yeah. Make it look better. Yeah. All right. Save first. Yeah. Next, we need to add two query methods, right? For each query statement, we need one corresponding query method for it. Yeah, so here we have those two definitions. Yeah, we just copy them together. Yeah, these two. All right. All right, yeah. Fix the import class part. Yeah, that's all we need. Yeah. Result set, another one. Fix it. Yeah. Import. All right. And we may like to do formatting another time, then save. All right. So this DAO part is done. All right. Then let us go back to the instruction file. The last one, list.jsp, the GUI part. Yeah. So this is this long table, right? This long table. Yeah. Although we can just copy paste to do the update, but I may like to leave the last one, because based on the logic, based on our code change logic, yeah, let us put this at the last step. Then in our thinking, logic thinking, yeah, you know, so we will get more comfortable. We follow certain order, yeah. So that order helps us in understanding. Yeah. All right. So we will, after we finish F.4, we will come back to do the last update here. Yeah. Now it's the time we open the F4 instruction file. Yeah. So we are here. All right. The first thing in problem.java, we add a new property, then add setters and getters, our step 1. All right. Yeah. Yeah, this one. Yeah. Yeah. So let's go back in the problem. Java Bing. All right. So here, let us add a new property, CID property. But after that, we need to generate setters, getters. All right. Source still generates getters, setters, but we only have one to generate. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So you have, yeah, and save it. So this step is done. Our problem Java Bean has the support for the CID. This problem is associated with. Yeah. So next step. prob cat DAO. Yeah. So we need to add another query, right? Yeah. Because we need to get the mapped CID information. So we need another query. Yeah. So the declaration prob cat DAO, this one, declaration. Yeah. So let's put here the declaration, and the definition of the query should be here. Yeah. This line, definition of the query. All right. Yeah. After that, then the query method. Yeah, let's put it here. Yeah. This method. Yeah. Get ID from prob ID. Yeah, this method. All right. All right. Yeah. Then we have everything we need for this class. Yeah. After that, we need to update the problem DAO, that list by page method. Yeah, this one. This list by page we need to add the category updating part. Yeah. So here, modify old query method. Yeah. So this is newer version. You can see this part, the added, lines. Yeah. Although you can just copy this parts, but you can also update the whole method. Yeah. If you want to make sure the whole thing is the same, you can also just update the whole method, right? Yeah, this whole method. Okay. All right. Yeah. So that's the whole method. No error. So we save. Now, this part is done. Okay. This part is done. All right. Let's see the next part. JavaScript. All right. Math bank. Yeah, this function definition. Yeah. So let's copy the function definition and put it in our JavaScript file. All right, JS, mathbank.js. Yeah, at the end, let us put this new function definition, yeah, and save it. All right. After that, the next step number 4, create servlet. Yeah, so that mapping servlet. All right, yeah, mapping servlet with a URL pattern, map prob cat URL pattern. Yeah, so let's do that in our servlet package, .web package, the 4th servlet. Right click, new servlet. All right, servlet. Class name, I just copied, map prob cat servlet. Next. All right, let us change the URL pattern as map lowercase prob cat lowercase. All right, click OK. Yeah. Next, yeah, we just deselect do get. We do not need a do get method, only do post method. All right, finish. All right, so now we have this part. Then let us change the do post method. All right, so here, the complete do post method. Yeah. All right. Update it. All right. Yeah. So that's all we need to do. Format a little bit. Format a little bit. All right. Also, fix this import. Yeah. Fix, yeah, this import. DAO import. All right. Yeah. And save. You can see the code part pretty straightforward. So we get a parameter PID, CID. After we get them, because their original form, string form, so we need to parse these two variables to their integer values, PID, CID integer values. Then we can do the query, right? Then we can do the query. Yeah, so then, so we change the data part in the table. Yeah. After that, a new mapping is created. Yeah, so that's all we need. Yeah, the last thing, we need to go back in this list.jsp. We need to update that big table part. So let's look at the here. This where is it? Yeah, not here, not this table. We need to find the right place. What is the right place? Under the error display part. Yeah, I remember is this under this class, offset -2, MD-8. Yeah, this big table. This is the part we need to update. All right. So this is the old one. Yeah, let me highlight it. Yeah, right here. Yeah, this old table. Yeah. So let me remove it. Okay. Yeah. So this place, we need to replace it by this new table. F.3. Yeah, we need to go back to F.3. Yeah, here. Yeah, here. This whole big table. Yeah, because I changed several places. So that's the reason I give you the whole table. Yeah, copy. Yeah. Then we put it here, paste. Yeah, and format it. Yeah, pretty long. Yeah. The code pretty long. Yeah, how long it is? Look, and not there. Starting. Where is the starting point? Yeah. Yes, this is starting point. Yeah. Formatting. Format. All right. Yeah. Okay, save. All right. Yeah. Now, the last thing, test it. Right click. Run as on server. Next. Yeah. Okay, so change the previous one, remove, finish. All right. Pretty slow. Loading. Yeah, so it's here. All right. Okay, yeah. So let me copy the link. Let me go to the external web browser. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Run here. All right. Okay, yeah. So that's the current. So you can see the GUI change part, right? Yeah. All right. Now let me make one assignment and see what happens. Yeah. Select algebra. All right. Yeah. Algebra. Click this link. Yeah. So we connect it. See? Yeah. It becomes red, right? The link color becomes red. That means something happens already. So you don't worry about if there is a change or not. Let's go back to check our database. All right. The database, you can see 1 here, right? That means 1 row is added. All right. You see the mapping 125 and category 1, right? Then you go back to this page. Now let us refresh the page. you see the algebra stays there, right? Yeah, the algebra, because the data is changed. When you refresh the page, the new data will be reflected in the GUI. Yeah, reflect. So let us do a few more changes. You can see. So geometry for this one, connect, association, assignment, number theory, this one, connect, right? Yeah. Another one, algebra, connect, all right? Yeah. Do another one, geometry, connect, okay? All right. After all these, let's refresh the page. Yeah, you will see all the change we did reflected in the new display. Yeah. So that is all we need to do for F.4. Yeah. Then we have last one. Last one is the category list questions in selected category. So basically we will do this. When you select one category, then all the questions associated with that category will be displayed. Then we are done. So